I'm going to show you how to do a spiral wrap with a compression wrap. We're going to start with the foot at 90 degrees, and you want to try and keep it that way. That allows for less wrinkling over the dorsum of the foot, so that when he's walking, you have less wrinkling, less rubbing, and irritation opportunity at the top of the foot. We want to maintain about 50% compression tension. So you're going to see me pull it out 100% and then back off of it about half. And getting it started is typically the hardest part to maintain that tension, so it takes a little bit of practice. You can see how the toes are kind of on a little diagonal line. And you want to make sure that your wrap is in a diagonal pattern as well, right at the base of the toes. We want to incorporate as much of the foot as possible, but we don't want there to be a problem with when Martini is walking. I don't want there to be a problem with the wrap causing a blister or any rub places on the bottom of his toes. So we want to have 2 good layers all over. I'm trying to maintain my tension. Coming back. The ankle is a little tricky. When you do the ankle, if you will come down low around the back of the heel to where you are really low on the ankle here, then your wrap is pretty much angled really nicely. I'm anchoring here, getting my tension right, and then putting down to come back and get that little part at the bottom so that you don't have any holes. And when he's moving, dorsiflexing and plantar flexing, you won't get an open spot here at the back of the heel where there's no compression wrap at all. So it's important for you to secure your wrap before you adjust your tension and then lay it down, because if you don't, when you pull, you can see how it can pull all the way around and you'll get some unequal amounts of compression. So you want to hold it here, pull out your tension, and then lay it down nice and flat. Hold here, pull out my tension, and then lay it down. And these wraps are really nice because of this yellow line. It helps you figure out exactly where to do the overlap so that you can get 50% overlap as you go up the leg. So see, I have 2 layers here, and you can tell the difference in the color. I only have 1 layer here. So I'm going to secure, pull out, come back, and then I'm going to lay the edge of the new layer right at that yellow line, and that helps me get good, nice coverage. It doesn't have to be exact, but it's a good guideline. Now on some wraps you won't have that, but you can always tell where you have 2 layers and 1 layer just because of the different color with the skin coming through the wrap. You want to maintain pretty much equal tension as you go up the leg. Just the natural shape of the leg will adjust because you'll have more compression here because of the circumference of the ankle being small. And as I move up the leg, I'll have less and less compression, even though I'm using the same tension, just because the leg gets larger. And that's what we want. We want the most tension and compression here, and it decreasing as we go up the leg so that the blood is pushed out and into the leg that way. Okay? So when you get to the top, the tibial tubercle is a good reference point. You want to cover as much of the calf muscle as possible so that you have that calf pushing against the compression wrap when the person is walking. They get that ankle motion, the calf muscle is going to compress and contract, and that just gives more of a compression force to the leg. The problem is you don't want it to be up so high. Go ahead and bend your knee. That it rubs on the back of the knee when the person is walking. So a good way to tell how far up to go is to put 2 fingers right up underneath the back of the knee in that popliteal area, and the wrap really should come right to the bottom of your last finger. So I'm going to go up just a little bit higher in the back. And bend your knee, Martini, and that's about perfect. Now this wrap is much longer than Martini would need, so in practice I would cut it right here and I would tape that down. I would never come back down the leg again with compression. And I don't want to just go around and around the top, because that kind of forms a tourniquet type of an effect, and I won't have good blood flow and fluid flow out of the bottom of the leg and back up into the main part of the leg. So I would cut it and tape it. But in class, we are not cutting these wraps because we reuse these. Okay, so we would just say, okay, done. And a good way to just check your tension to make sure that it's consistent is to snap it and just listen that the snap sounds the same as you go up the leg, and that the tension that it takes you to pull it out feels the same. So it's just a nice way just to give it a quick little check to see how it feels all the way up the leg. I think we're done. Okay, I'm going to show you now a figure of 8 wrap with a compression wrap. Same as with the spiral technique, we want to have the foot pretty much in neutral. We're going to adjust the wrap for the diagonal pattern of the toes. So the bottom part of it pretty much is exactly the same as the spiral technique. We're going to lay it down, holding and maintaining good tension. You want to have that bottom layer nice and smooth against the skin because it's going to be there a while with compression over it, so you want to have it nice and smooth. Okay, we're going to get 2 layers going here, just watching out for the base of the toe. Don't have anything rubbing. Okay, just like before, I'm going to stabilize here, get my tension working the way I want it to do. I'm going to come low over the back of the heel just like I did with the spiral technique. Come around and then cover up the bottom of the heel. And then I'm angled to come right up the leg. Now this is where the techniques are different, and I will tell you that the figure of 8 wrap is a little more difficult. The difficult part of it is just getting it started. Once you get it down, it works just fine. The problem with if you have someone with hairy legs or someone with a very kind of small leg, the wrap tends to fall down easier. So you just kind of have to work with it to get it started. But the way this is different from the spiral is I'm going to angle up farther up the leg, same amount of tension. Angle up farther up the leg, keeping it nice and smooth. And then I'm going to anchor it back here with my hand, and then I'm going to bring it down. Crisscrossing it and see how it wants to slide. So getting it started can be a little challenging. Okay, come down. And now I'm going to anchor at the back, and I'm going to come up the leg. So it's kind of a diagonal crisscrossing pattern. And then I'm going to come down the leg. Now, just like we used the yellow line to help us with our 50% overlap with the spiral wrap, with the figure of 8, we use it to help us get this nice crisscross pattern. So you can see that I have a line here and a line here, so that when I come up this time, I'm going to put the edge of my wrap along that line that's coming up. Okay, and now when I anchor here and come back down, I'm going to put the edge of my wrap right there where that yellow line is. So do you see how this crisscross pattern is getting started? And that's what you want to see. It's kind of like a herringbone pattern. Anchor, now I'm coming up with this line. And I'm going to come down with this line. And it really should be an up and down thing. You don't want the lines coming across the leg like that. We're not doing a spiral wrap. I'm going to come up with this line. And then down with this line. Now this is where we're going to stop. Same landmarks as with the spiral wrap. So tibial tuberosity, 2 fingers at the back of the leg up in the popliteal space. So bend your knee for me, Martini. And that's just about perfect. But I want 2 layers, so I'm going to bring this around, put my 2 layers on the back part of his leg. It's just touching the back of my finger, and at this point I would cut it and tape it. But just like with the spiral wrap, we're not going to cut these in in practice so that we can keep them to reuse again. Now the benefit of having a nice figure of 8 wrap as opposed to the spiral wrap, you have more layers on the skin with the figure of 8 wrap, and that's going to give you a higher compression rating. And you can refer back to your notes for the law of Laplace to figure out why that is.
Eat 'em up, go Cats, go.